What's happening, Wes?
What's happening, Brian? Not much, man.
Yeah.
Wednesday stuff.
Wednesday stuff.
Actually, may I interrupt?
Shit.
This is more like West J stuff, you guys. I just want to say, I know, Brian, you keep, canceling Monday's Gamescast, and you're forcing me to come invade Wes's space here. This is supposed to be, Wes's personal time with you guys to bond, and yet, here I
He's
am.
not taking the hint. He's not taking the hint, Brian.
You forced me to stand outside your window in the rain, giving you a sad puppy face to let me on. But thank you for letting me join the show.
I love he's like apologizing for like stepping on Wes's feet while totally stepping all over both of our feet during the intro. He's like, I'm like, hey Wes, and AJ's like, dude, what's going on? I don't want to be the one fucking stepping on everybody's feet, but what's happening? Everybody, Kevin, Russ, Looper, Paradise Decay, Joshua Taylor, kill the motherfucking cat. Sorry.
Somebody's got to have some energy here, though, Brian. I do have to take up for him there. Like,
yeah.
Somebody's got to bring it, right? So why not him?
Yeah, sadly, I just expended all of the energy I was saving for the show.
It's all right. I got you covered. Let's start the show.
Let's do it. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Eyes Friday. I don't know what day today is. Last week we did this was on a Thursday. So, yeah. 6 p.m. Eastern. We do it live for your viewing pleasure. But we also care about your oral pleasure. That's why our good friend Rypop puts us up on podcast services of your choice. And if you don't like listening to long rants, well, then you're in the wrong place. But you can always wait for the show timestamps to go live afterwards. Thanks to our good friend Rody, the GameCat Army General, and Waleed. It's now Game Cat, specifically a White Tiger. I think I got that all right this time. My name is Bryan Rant, this channel right here, without parole. And we'll just go right down the line. To my left, to your right, it's AJ from The Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Wesley? What is up, Game Cats? Metal is what's in the air today. You smell that, Wes? You smell that? Smells like
Indeed.
metal. It's all good. Hopefully everyone's having a great day out there. So good to see you. Excited to be here, obviously.
Wes, I hope you know that I only let AJ go first because he was going to go anyway. So,
Right. I understand. I get it.
and on the right-hand side of the screen is Wes Dillon from our sister channel, Virtual Strangers.
Hello, Brian. Hello, Game Cats.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.
I had to compensate for some of AJ's bombastic behavior, so I took it down a notch. Sorry. Even out, right? What's up, everybody? Good to be here.
For sure, man. Nick, the Game Cat freak in the chat says, let's get over caffeinated together. We'll say that is the only way I'm functioning today. I gotta say, on Monday evening, I knew something was not right. I was not feeling good. And I get sick so frequently that I was like, you know what? I can't tell the cats that I'm sick. I've just got to say, hey, something came up and we can't do the show tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to do it tomorrow. And then the next day I was still sick and I was like, crap, we still can't do it. And then the responses to those comments were, so when's that Behemoth review coming?
Oh,
And I was like, oh shit, I can't get mad
in the review.
I can't get mad at them because they're not actually being insensitive, right? Like they're just asking a very normal question. Because in my head I had posted, hey guys, I'm not feeling very good, not going to do Gamescast. No, where's the Behemoth review? So just that kind of, so in my head, 2 stars.
There's your
2
review.
stars. Just like, yeah, listen, look, say what you want to about Behemoth, okay? Say anything you want to about Behemoth.
It's great.
Is 2 out of 5 stars? I am calling out Ian Higdon from Eurogamer right now, and he's a friend. He's a friend of the channel. I have not watched his review. I just learned like literally minutes before the show that he'd given Behemoth 2 out of 5 stars. I would love to learn like what his experience was. I know that there's been a lot of problems with Behemoth. There was a lot of bugs at launch. There's probably still some bugs.
Definitely.
So, but I mean, I would this should we just go to Eurogamer and read through it right now? Because I don't want to start
Well,
making
well,
assumptions
If
about
I
we're
what
gonna
can't
is.
call
really-
people out, you know.
Yeah, I can't really comment on it without like knowing, all I know is 2 stars, and that seems absurd, but yeah, I'd like to know why, because obviously Ian is a big fan of VR and is pretty, he's on point a lot of the times. He has had some misses though, but no, nobody's perfect, but I am a little curious to see why. I think 2 stars. 2 stars, 2 out of 5 stars is crazy though.
All right, listen. It looks like it's a pretty long review, so I don't think we should go through the entire thing. However, let's at least give it the benefit of the doubt because Ian is a well-spoken dude, and I am very curious. Oh man, I clicked the wrong button. There it is. I want to know what he has to say about this. I want to know what kind of issues he was experiencing. So let's bring it up. Here we go. There we go.
Just seeing the visual representation of the 2 stars shocks me all over again.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Can we not scroll up? We can scroll up. All right. Let's see. So this was from today. So he gave it the time. I believe there was supposed to be another patch that went out today. So he definitely gave it the time it deserved in order to say, hey, if there's any kind of like launch issues. But he starts off and says, so the overview is fun and challenging swordplay can't make up for bland and repetitive action between behemoths, making this far from the epic adventure it wants to be. I thought we'd all decided during the Xbox 360 days that checkpoints just before boss fights that kicked off with reams of unskippable dialogue were very annoying indeed. No one in their right mind wants to hear the same voice lines repeated over and over again. Is this really the beginning? It's okay. But I guess developer's guidance wasn't paying attention during that era because this game features some of the worst checkpointing I've experienced in a long time. The checkpoints were so frustrating at times that I literally had to stop playing in order to calm down, dragging down my excitement of the game that otherwise succeeds in many areas. I have nothing against challenging battles and hardcore gameplay, but Behemoth has by the bucket load, but the irritations of having to walk or climb or grapple your way back along a linear path to then listen to the same pre-fight chatter and intro animation after every single death had me letting out Behemoth-sized sighs on multiple occasions. Listen, before we continue,
Get good. Sorry.
I mean, like, listen, yeah, I didn't die all that much in the game. Sirens on my end. But I was also playing on normal default difficulty. I know, Wes, that you had been playing through on the barbarian difficulty.
Yeah.
So is this
I'm
much
dying a
more of an
lot.
issue in that mode?
Yeah, it really is, and it's a fair point, to be honest. Now, obviously, I think he's exaggerating a little bit because most of the time the checkpoints do happen right before you get into the boss fight. But if you're playing on the hard difficulty, then you die a lot. So even though you're not walking that far, get into the boss fight, and there's not that much dialogue. Typically, just a few lines before the boss fight kicks off, or mini boss fight. Typically, it's a mini boss fight that you're uh, going back into. Even that short jaunt and few lines does get annoying after hearing it 10, 15 times. So it's a fair point. It doesn't break the game. It does lead to a lot of frustration, but that was part of what I signed up for when I put it on the hard difficulty. It's one of the more like the victories wouldn't be as gratifying if the defeats weren't frustrating, right? So yes, it gets very, very frustrating at the point where like I literally have wanted to throw my controllers a few times because I'm so upset. But that just makes it all the more rewarding when I finally nail the death blow and get to move on. So I get it. It is frustrating. I hope that he has more than that
I
though for
I agree with the standard quality of life feature of being able to skip dialogue, skip a cutscene. Yes, that
True.
is something that every single modern game should have, because I understand while you want people to experience it, what if people want to replay it? Then this is something that we've been complaining, or people complain about, since forever. So I 110% agree about being able to skip the dialogue. The checkpoint system, I don't really agree with. There is one mini boss fight that I know I can picture in my head that took me a couple tries. And yeah, I had to like listen to them watch the cutscene or whatever every single time. That was a little bit annoying. But that to me does not warrant a 2 out of 5 stars.
Which one was it?
yet.
Which one was it? I'm just curious. Which one was
It's
it?
the mini boss before the second Behemoth.
So the one that screams at you a lot?
Yes, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I got tired of that one too.
Yeah, that was the
'Cause
only
yeah.
one that like I had to fight like over and over, and yeah, having to sit through that each time. I mean, it wasn't that long. It was maybe a couple minutes long, maybe like a minute or two at most. So it wasn't really even that bad, but
Well,
yeah,
there's
but
there's a section in that dialogue sequence which is just 1, 2, maybe 3 seconds of silence where nothing happens. And yeah, it gets annoying when you're just sitting here waiting, knowing what's going to happen because you've already
yeah,
done it 20 times,
yeah, should just be able to skip the cutscene. That would
Yeah.
solve the problem. Boom.
Yeah, I'm not playing. I know I didn't play on Barbarian, but man, it's I don't maybe someone should tell him that he needs to start jamming on that strength mode, because you don't die very much on. I mean, and don't get me wrong, this doesn't excuse bad checkpoints, but also bad checkpoints aren't something I noticed because I wasn't dying very much. But
I
you
actually
jam
thought
on
the
that.
checkpoints were good for the most part. Like they're good. His problem is with not being able to skip the cutscenes, I assure you, because that's literally it. And hearing the dialogue over and over from failed attempts, that's his problem. Because I died so many different times, and I actually thought the checkpoints were really forgiving in this. This is not a Souls game. This is a very like modernized for casual audience, even though maybe the intensity of the VR situations may be a little bit too much intense for those that get like motion sick and stuff. But as far as like a structure design, it is the checkpoint system was great. Like there were so many times where I died or fell or something, and it put me right back there and just like took away some of my health.
That's true.
Cats are
There's a lot
cats
of
are
that,
definitely
actually.
cats are definitely a little bit divided in the chat. Some people are saying that 2 out of 5 is generous. I saw that. Damien says it's generous. He says if I'm spending $40 on an unfinished game, then I blame the devs. I don't think this is. So far, we're not talking about unfinished. Also, I'd be curious to know if you played it, Damien. That's $40 is kind of nothing in today's video game ecosystem for a game this polished and a game of this high production value. We were just looking at in the retro channel over on our Discord. Click the link in the description below. Come join our Discord. In the retro channel there, we were looking at Toys R Us ads from the early 90s, where like Final Fantasy Super Nintendo games were going for $90.
Yeah.
$90 in the early 90s. That's over $200 today. Like, no one has any fucking idea how cheap games are these days. It's insane. And again, not trying to give anybody a pass here, but be like, $40 is very, very low compared to what we used to pay for video games. So
everything else I see here is impressive.
Yeah, let me scroll down because he talks a little bit more about checkpoints and all that.
Magnificence, something about
I got the feeling from the lead in line right next to the 2 stars, where he says, fun and challenging swordplay doesn't make up for bland and repetitive action. Says bland and repetitive action. When I hear that, I hear another similar frustration, and probably my biggest criticism of the game is the pacing of the game. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the first level is about how long a chapter should be, but then the second chapter, it feels like 2 chapters, and the third's not much better. Like it's a trek to get to the Behemoth, and I like it. I I like feeling like I'm on a journey, right? That to get to the behemoths and hunt them down. But I don't know. I don't know if you know maybe having the mini bosses not be as grand as the boss fights or pairing in comparison. Um, the journey seemed kind of long and arduous at times, and like God, hopefully I'm getting to the boss fight pretty soon because this is taking a while, you know. So I certainly feel that.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. That's why, like, when I first started the game off, you know, and I was like, man, this isn't doing it for me. This isn't doing it for me. But then there was something clicked with the second behemoth, and that was after a long trek, man. That was at 5 hours into the game or something like that. Um, and I was like, man, if this is the kind of stuff I have to look forward to, suddenly I'm way more interested in the stuff that's happening in the interim. Right now, I feel like I'm more invested in exploring and finding all the collectibles and looking around and like upgrading my weapons. It's I agree that maybe the moment to moment just sword fighting is okay. Like, and I say that like very generously.
Yeah.
But man, I actually thought the best parts of Behemoth weren't the combat. It was the exploration. It was the puzzle solving.
Yeah,
Right. And then of course the big moments of the behemoths, right? And I think the further into the game you get, the less of these things that Ian's complaining about and that other people have complained about start to matter. And so I'd like to know how many people finished the game and still had these thoughts associated with it.
The thing too with someone like Ian that we know is a pretty genuine person is like he just is saying his experience, and we know that a lot of the times, like with VR games in particular, you can have a very different experience with these games. But I know, I like reading through the rest of his stuff, it's like, yeah, like it's unfortunate. It sounds like he didn't have he ran into a couple more issues than I did. Because, but one thing I did notice too, that I kind of do agree with, is that it sounds like he's a little bit more disappointed than it is like saying it's bad. He said it sounds like he's leaning more towards it's disappointing for the high standards that we have for Skydance, and I can somewhat agree with that. Like I gave it, I gave Behemoth like an 8 out of 10, and from Skydance, it's like, well, we're used to like them delivering like 10 out of 10s or 9 out of 10, something like that. So it does fall short of kind of like what could have been, and things here and there. But I think that the star score is unfortunately what most people are going to see and just go, and react to that, because that is kind of like the stamp at the end, to kind of solidify that. And that's kind of disappointing, because I do think it's definitely better than, I think a 3 out of 5. Would give it one more star is probably fair.
I definitely think of it as 4 out of 5 for me. You say it's an 8. Yeah, it's a high 8 for me. Like I'm really enjoying it. We don't get VR games that are on this level of production very often, and this is
The production
for all,
values.
for all of its faults, this is a journey, right? It's an adventure. It's an adventure game, and you definitely feel like you've been on an adventure after you've played it for some time.
Well, this is a very long review, and so I don't want to get too crazy,
Don't
but
get nuts.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to read the entire thing. I say that, here's a highlight right here. Probably got a couple more highlights, and we can move on. But please go over and engage with the Eurogamer article. Give Ian and Eurogamer the credit. Yeah, the credit they deserve. They're really good at covering VR stuff. Whether you agree with them or not, it's always good to support those channels. He says Behemoth is a game that constantly promises too much and then fails to deliver. A great example of this is the fact it gives you 8 weapon slots on your body so you can gather up and cart around a huge selection of blades and bows. That's awesome. Can't wait to use them. But along Ren's journey, you'll unlock weapons like the sword, the bow, the armor smashing axe. All of these weapons can be upgraded using physical actions, which is a lovely touch, But once I got my hands on those 3, I never touched the conventional enemy dropped weapons again. I mean, why bother? He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, it is cool to get that massive Buster Sword from the first mini boss, and then just be like, to have that, like, this is kind of cool, right? But you're not upgrading it. You're not using that ever again. And so I do agree that, like, it's like 8 weapon slots, not necessary, but
Not necessary, but cool to have. It's cool to like. I mean, I don't know how much I should say because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's a lot of mini boss fights in this. And with that, there's a lot of, trophies. You pick up the weapons and stuff from the mini bosses that you fight. So it's cool to have a place to put that stuff. And beyond that, I like having those extra slots. I mentioned this last week for shields. If you're playing like I'm playing, you rely on those quite a bit, and they get busted up pretty often. So it's nice to have a few extra slots to carry extra shields with you, especially later in the game when you really need them. To have those there is very handy. So yeah, I get it. Like I don't use the other weapons either. Like I just use the Koloss, special hero weapons. But I did appreciate having those extra slots there for the reasons I just said.
I think he makes a couple more good points here, and then we'll wrap it up. He says, basically, I think I was expecting a bit more depth from Behemoth, not least because at a preview event I attended earlier this year, Wes, I was introduced to a character called the Healer who allowed you to craft healing items and a selection of arrow types using ingredients gathered along your journey. This healer and all of her associated crafting mechanics have now been completely removed from the game, and instead, consumables are just regularly dropped by enemies, meaning you rarely need to hoard resources. This makes Behemoth feel much more arcadey and simplified than the immersive, intense Saints and Sinners games that Skydance is best known for. Because of this, Skydance's Behemoth now feels like a standard, fairly uninspired AA action game rather than the AAA behemoth of a VR game I think it was originally envisioned to be. If you want to run around cutting people to bits with swords and living out Conan fantasy,
yes,
you can certainly do that here. If you want to indulge in a little bit of basic dungeon crawling with a predictable and fairly bland storyline, no disagreement there, there's some of that too. None of it besides the checkpointing is especially bad either. It's fine and fun and challenging, but not unfair. Unfortunately, though, other older VR games out there have already done most of the things that Behemoth does, and ultimately, they do them all in bigger and better ways. And that, in my opinion, is a huge Skydance's disappointment.
I hard disagree with that. Other people have delivered like a cinematic epic moments like fighting those behemoths. Nobody else has done that. Like with those production values, with some of those environments, those backgrounds, the fluidity of the gameplay and everything. Hard disagree there. I do agree that, there's a lot left out on the cutting board, it seems. There's definitely a lot more potential for some way better things. And it's not up to the standards, like I said, that Saints and Sinners or Skydance, we're used to. But this game absolutely delivers something different and something that we don't get often. And I think that kind of fails to recognize that.
And could you imagine if you had to craft every medicine pouch and arrow
I would hate that.
that used? Like, I was literally thinking this when I did the demo. Like, it was cool that they had some crafting element to that, but I'm thinking to myself, like, how many times am I going to have to do this before I get sick of doing it, right? So I kind of think that removing that lady was kind of a good move.
I haven't played the game with it in, right? I haven't played the other version of what this could be. So I can't say for sure, but I think I would have liked that. I think I would have liked a little bit more depth in the moment to moment stuff, so I will say this. I was just contacted today from Skydance, sorry, more sirens on my end, from Skydance's PR firm, and they want me to do an interview with the creative director over there. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, but I'm not doing some fluff piece. I'm not going to do some like PR piece for you. I was like, I want to hear every detail about what changed over the last couple of years. And if we can't do that, If he's not willing to be transparent, or if he's not allowed to do that from Skydance's point of view, then I don't want to do it. I was like, but if he's down to be transparent and tell the whole story and tell us everything that changed and why it changed, I was like, let's fucking do it. And they said, all right, let's do it. So you should be getting the full story about why all that stuff's not there soon enough.
A lot of people are.
Sorry, I haven't done a developer interview in a while, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to. So, you know, the only way I was going to do one if it was a good one. What were you saying, AJ?
So the good news is that there's supposed to be a big patch dropping for it tomorrow. I personally, like, I did like a review on like my Patreon for it, and I said I think you should play this game, but hold off for a patch or two. But I do think it's a must play, whether it be now or whether you want to, you know, wait for the patch. And one of the things, the new issues introduced is that the blood is now all black. And as well as like if you like slice somebody in half, it's all black. It's not like the entrails that were there before. So yeah, I do think this is a must play game, but I do also say that I think you should wait for, if the patch tomorrow doesn't fix the black blood, then the next one. But the patch tomorrow is supposed to be pretty significant with like more graphic enhancements, things like that. So I'm really actually excited to check that one out. But yeah, I also want the black blood fixed.
Man, I'm kind of happy that I was sick for the last few days, because then my Behemoth review would have been out Monday, and then it would have been out of date already. This is the constant struggle over here. Always want to get videos out early, and then but I always want them to be relevant.
Yeah, it's a difficult line to walk, right? Trying to be first, but be accurate at the same time is sometimes challenging.
Steve Iari in the chat is a fake retro gamer. He says, "Do you put a code in to get the blood red, like on the SNES Mortal Kombat?" Bro, that was not available on the SNES Mortal Kombat. Only the Sega Genesis version. That's ABACABB. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. What are you doing? It's embarrassing. You're just embarrassing yourself. All right, now that we've lost a subscriber, let's check out the tips. We got Wally's Now Game Cat, specifically a White Tiger with the Canadian $2 tip, saying, "Don't forget to talk about Pavlov's new maps." Meow. Guys, Pavlov has new maps and also has microtransactions.
Ooh, really?
That's what I heard. I haven't checked into it. But
well,
hey,
Pavlov's
you know what?
A freaking great game.
Right. And if it's all cosmetics and stuff like that, you know what? And they got people to return coming back to keep playing the game, and they're not forcing anybody to buy anything. More power to them.
Yeah, I agree with that. We all have that immediate, you know, reaction when we hear that word microtransactions, but
Exactly.
if it's cosmetics, then it's fine. I get it. Make your money. It doesn't bother me. Just don't beat me over the head with it, you know?
Right.
Just a note, this is the second time there's been new maps added. Because I saw my dude Macho times 3 said they finally brought the new maps to Pavlov. Yeah, this is the second time they've brought new maps to Pavlov. They've already brought new ones before, and they were really good.
In fact, what I'm playing right now is the Autumn and Carnival update trailer, which is the last time they brought new maps to us, right? This was like months and months ago. But again, I've not gotten to go back to Pavlov since getting that review out. Like, there's been too much Phasmo to play.
It's still excellent. Can confirm.
Damian Masters, welcome to Level 1 membership. Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Game Cat with the $5 tip, says, "Almost forgot about the show today. Been grinding through Soul Reaver 1 Remaster. What's up, guys?"
Raziel.
You're so happy about that, aren't you?
I am. I need to just go buy it. I'll play it when I get a chance, but I just need to go buy it because I wanted that.
Is it just like an upresing, or is it like, did they actually go and like improve all the textures and like really kind of make it look
honestly
better?
I think it's like they like remastered it. I mean, they remastered it within the same engine, which is bizarre. My only little fear is that like by cleaning it up, this happened with like the Devil May Cry remasters, by cleaning it up, it kind of introduces some new imperfections. Like some of the stuff was kind of masked in the lower resolution and some of the, you know, stuff.
Yeah,
So
getting my grain back.
yeah, like it can backfire in a way, or like when they redid like Silent Hill and like the fog was gone. I don't know if you remember that. I'm sure you do. But that's my only fear, but I think it'll be fine. It's an amazing game and everyone should go play it that still plays flat games. Which is nobody.
The silence is deafening.
So nobody go play it.
Dead Rigger, the Game Cat with the level 1 membership, says smells like Metallica and Beat Saber. AJ, I'm glad you're here because Wes doesn't give a fuck about Beat Saber.
He likes metal,
yeah, and you like Metallica, right?
Love Metallica. Probably, in my opinion, the greatest band of all time, Metallica.
MCR. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So does this make you care at all about Beat Saber, Wes?
A little bit. Like I know if I ever play Beat Saber again, what I'll be playing. It'll definitely
Nice.
100% be Metallica. This is something that has needed to happen probably for 5 years. Like there's always been this criticism of Beat Saber that they don't represent hard rock and heavy metal genre very well, and they fall flat versus what people want. And it is kind of late in the game, but finally they figured it out, because even if you used to be a Metallica fan or you're still a current Metallica fan, if you're a metal fan, there's something in this pack that you like. There are good songs in here, and that was my first thing when I saw Metallica Beat Saber. I'm like, oh great, they're gonna give us, you know, load and reload.
Oh no, I like load.
I like a few songs on load. I like a few songs on it, not many. Reload was garbage, but no, this spans the entire discography from Metallica. Even has some of their decent new stuff in there as well. So yeah, I think it's a good move, and it's a lot of songs, man. It's like a greatest hit.
17 songs. Atlas Rise, which is a new one. Battery, Blackened, Creeping Death, Enter Sandman, Fade to Black, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fuel, Hit the Lights, King Nothing, Lux Eterna, Master of Puppets, Nothing Else Matters, One, Sad But True, Seek and Destroy, and The Unforgiven.
Yeah, boy.
Really, really great set list. When this was announced yesterday out of the blue, I had already kind of been getting back into Beat Saber a little bit, surprisingly, because there's been so many updates to it.
Same.
But yeah, for something like this, where it's like something I've been asking for forever, like Wes said, 5-6 years ago, this is a big deal to me. And let me tell you, man, I jumped into this immediately, and like a couple of hours later or whatever, dude, I was drenched. Like this is really good. A lot of these songs are really long, and so that's already kind of a challenge in itself. But holy shit, the mapping is really good, but it is very difficult as well. Like I was struggling to get through on expert, which is like kind of like my comfort level. You know, expert plus is like usually when I want to give myself an insane challenge. I couldn't even like get to expert plus just yet. They made these very difficult, and they're like these long endurance songs. So it's going to take some practice, but boy, oh boy, did I have a lot of fun. The mapping is so good. The songs are excellent. There was a little bit of an audio issue where I had to turn down the sound effects of the swords because the
you had that too.
Yeah, the music was too quiet for some of the songs.
I was used to always having to blast I always had the sound effects from the swords all the way up because I never thought it was loud enough. I wanted to be as impactful as possible when I was playing, right? And then it was like too impactful. So it's possible. I don't know if it's just this track pack or if they just adjusted the sound volume for the entire game. I'm gonna have to go back and check all that out.
Yeah, I think it was just a kind of a bug thing that got introduced. I fixed it by just basically turning the sound effects volume all the way down. And what it did was it actually just made the sound effects like normal, like normal sound loudness, volume. But yeah, some excellent songs here. Obviously, you know, they have such a long discography amazing albums, amazing songs. So there's like a couple that I was like, that were missing, and I was like, oh man, I'd love to see this, but overall, super satisfied. And to Wes's point, they only plugged like 2 new songs in here. And one of them, I haven't played the other one, but the Lux Eterna is actually a really good song. For like it's very solid for like new Metallica, because they haven't been able to capture the magic that they've been trying to recreate for like
Honestly,
20 years.
honestly though, I got to disagree there. Like their latest album, the 20 Seasons or whatever it's called, it's
Mhm.
just okay. But
Mhm.
the two albums previous to prior to that one, I thought were very good. I thought I liked both of them better than the Black Album, which is just kind of meh to me these days.
Oh my
Um,
God, somebody else, thank you. I know everybody gives me shit because they're like, Load is where Metallica fell off. I'm like, no, the Black
no,
Album is where
the
they
Black
fell
Album,
off.
Bob
Yes.
Rock ruined Metallica. Yes.
Oh my God.
I
I
know,
don't,
but
I
Wes,
don't,
we're not going to win this battle, just so you know.
I don't know what to say.
But we'll
It's like,
go down on this ship together.
listen, if it wasn't for you got to understand, like especially for somebody like me who was just not into Metallica until the Black Album. Sometimes you need one of those, like you need one of those albums that reaches out and takes your hand and says, "Come on, it's okay. Come on, it's okay." Right? And like just like for a lot of people, that was Jar of Flies with Alice in Chains, right? And then you go and explore the rest of the catalog. You need someone to take your hand and say, "Come here, come here, come here." It's okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna fucking worship Satan, but it's gonna be great. Come on. Take by the hand. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I saw Tatum in the
And
chat.
Black
Go ahead.
Album, just to clarify, Black Album's not like a bad album or anything, by the way.
No, there's some good songs. I like the second half of the album. I've heard those radio songs so many times
Yeah.
that
But
it's just
anyway,
radio
sorry, go
rock
ahead,
to
Brian.
me. It's Nickelback to me.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I saw Tatum in the chat say, I like Hero of the Day, even though most fans don't like that song. I really liked that song. I remember, because that was one of the, a music video on MTV, right?
Reload.
And I remember really liking that.
Load or reload, yeah.
We got to speak to the number of songs in this. Prentice Summer Scales in the chat said, "Wow, is this the biggest single artist music pack ever? I haven't seen that many tracks before in one set." I believe that's true, right? Even the ones that have been expanded on, like Panic at the Disco, got some extra songs later on. This is
some more with like the Mike Shinoda pack.
Yeah, this is, and so like $20 sounds like a lot of money until you're like 17 songs. They're selling them for $2 a pop on the PlayStation Store. So that's what, $34 if you buy them individually. So I mean, listen, these are songs I'm going to play 100 times over. So take my $20. I'm going to get more time out of this than I'm probably going to get out of Behemoth.
Oh.
That wasn't an insult to Behemoth. I think Behemoth ended right when it should have. Any other thoughts on Metallica before we move on, gentlemen?
Great pack. Go buy it. Beat Saber continues to be awesome and has kind of made a comeback for me personally. And yeah, I'm got some more practicing to do before I feel good enough to stream it, but I will soon once I loosen up a little bit and get a little shake off some of the rust.
I'm just gonna say I'm happy with this, that this trailer's been playing the entire time, because because I have my defaults set to red and blue squares and red and blue sabers, and so I because I can't play Beat Saber. My brain is like only functions in one way. I've trained it for years to be like left red, right blue, left red, right blue, and so I didn't even know that these were the colors they were using in the Metallica pack. It's like gray in darker gray, and I kind of love that, but there's no way I'd be able to play that without my mind breaking. It'd be terrible. Darth Vader, the Game Cat in the chat with the $10 tip, says Blade and Sorcery is going through testing for the PSVR2. Nothing is set in stone yet, or if it'll even release, but what has me more confident is the developer told me to hold off on buying a PC. So pretty much confirmation that Blade and Sorcery is coming to PSVR2. It's been coming to PSVR2 and even PSVR1 for the better part of a decade now. So this is kind of like more of the same, but
So
at least the
Hellspit
conversation.
Arena.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've already got Behemoth and we've got Swordsman. Do we really need Blade and Sorcery?
Oh my God, he's gonna go buy a PC for this game, so I'd say yes, because clearly this is a console seller.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that's going to sit on the top 10 sales charts, pretty much until the end of time. And I will say, I've always really admired some of the things that Blade and Sorcery does. That Swordsman, for whatever reason, just has never gotten around to doing. Swordsman keeps adding stuff. Right? They've been adding stuff nonstop to the point where it's like a different game now than it used to be. But they've never added like cool arena stuff, like cool verticality, climbing in the arenas, like giving any reason, any traps, any reason to, these are the people who play these games are the kind of people who like to get creative with their kills. These are the kind of people who will use the boulder traps in Behemoth. These are the kind of people who will use the spike walls in Behemoth, right? But for whatever reason, Sin Studio didn't seem willing or able to add those kind of things to Swordsman VR.
Well, I will say this: Blade and Sorcery is not a bad game. It's decent. They recently added in kind of this quasi campaign mode that gives you some purpose other than just mindless fighting in a sandbox mode. And
Oh yeah, there's like dungeons now.
Yeah,
And
so
loot.
it's all right. It's slightly above average game to me. Like it's like 7.5 out of 10 to me, and I recently played it, so like it is what it is. It has its fan base out there. I'll give it that. A lot of people really like it. It's just not. It's not for me.
Just one more game that'll sit on the top 10 sales chart until the end of time. Speaking of which, Sony released all the sales, top 10 sales for the month of November. So I think we should check that.
Story
out.
number 1. We can get the show started now.
Is this the first one on the Run of Show?
Yeah.
We're so cooked. All right. PlayStation Store November 2024 top downloads. Phasmophobia. Motherfucking that's right. And Metro Awakening enter the top of the download charts in November. Listen, guys, do not let that statement get past you. Phasmophobia and Metro Awakening entered the top of the download charts in November. These are two PSVR2 games that we're talking about. This is not a PSVR2 article. This is an article that includes PSVR2 games alongside flat screen PlayStation 5 games. The fact that they're calling out two VR games is monumental. Obviously, Phasmophobia is also playable on the flat screen. But let's scroll down and see what.
Nothing.
What?
Yeah, I was looking on the top 10 for Phasmophobia. I'm like, I don't even see it here. But then
Dude,
I remembered
it's number
hybrid
2.
game.
It's exactly, and so those don't show up on the VR sales charts. They only show up on the flat screen PS5 charts.
Damn,
and here it is,
number 2 on the flat screen.
Number 2 in the US and number 4 in EU. What are you doing over there in the EU?
Damn, they
Dude,
slayed.
It's so good. I cannot stop playing this game.
It is great.
It is half of the reason that the Behemoth review is not out yet. The other day I ended up playing it for like 5 hours over the course of 2 different sessions. It's a game that just keeps getting better and better and better the more you play it. It's unbelievable. And it's buggy as hell. It's all sorts of glitches and like hard to open doors sometimes. The fact that we're willing to like look past that stuff, everybody that I play with is willing to look past that stuff because the game itself is so good. Clearly hoping for patches that take care of this stuff eventually, but it's not stop. I've got 70 hours in Phasmophobia right now.
Holy shit.
Dude, I looked, and when I reviewed Gran Turismo 7, I had 60 hours in it. So I've already got more experience in Phasmophobia than I did in Gran Turismo 7 for my review. Phasmophobia review coming soon. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. That's huge news. Phasmophobia is selling great on console. I would love to know the percentage of those people playing it in VR. Let's take a look at PSVR2 sales games. What am I can't even speak, dude. Top 10. We'll go with the US side. This is PSVR2 starting at the bottom. Number 10, Crossfire Sierra Squad.
Let's go. Love that game.
Yeah, I mean, I
another
think
one that Ian Higton shat on
Uh-oh.
at launch.
Look at that.
Unfortunately. But again, because
Former friend of the show, Ian Higgs.
No, it wasn't. Look, it wasn't his fault. He ran into a lot of bugs, like
Yeah.
I put, we played through like the whole thing or whatever, tons of hours into that game, and like hardly had anything. He live streamed it, and so like there is proof that that he was having some really messed up issues. But yeah, this was another one where it was like everybody liked it except some of when the outlets kind of bashed it. We were kind of like scratching our heads, like what happened here?
Right. And again, a lot of these games are reappearing on the top 10 list, not because they've been selling great all of this time since launch. They've reappeared because there's been crazy sales going on. And so I'm assuming that's why this has made a reappearance, although it feels like a game that should be there anyway.
So good.
Number 9 is Among Us VR. 8, Red Matter 2. This should always be there. 7 is Into the Radius. Very, very, very happy to see that there. I feel like that should be there forever. One of my favorite games this generation. Feel free to stop me at any point. 6, Pavlov. 5, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, Enhanced Edition. I think that definitely got a sale recently. And I think at the perfect time, because I think it's coming to Plus Premium next month.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Getting a pretty good lineup of games on that premium thing. That's something we kind of like speculated for a long time, and man, it's certainly hitting the ground running.
Yeah. Number 4, Arizona Sunshine 2. Number 3, Arizona Sunshine Remake, which is crazy. Both great games. 2, Beat Saber, and 1, Metro Awakening. Pretty cool.
So how about Vertigo Games fucking slaying it this month? 3 out of the top 5 were all from Vertigo Games. That's incredible.
Wow.
100% agree, and well deserved. I mean, they've been really killing it lately. It's been interesting the way the VR scene kind of goes, the way the developers, some of these developers we have these high expectations for, and then they completely underdeliver or fail to deliver, meet expectations. And then it's almost like, they go through a rut for a while, and then they just start getting it together. I think Vertigo Games is one of those. Also, like fast travel games, they were always like, we're like, oh, you're just on the cusp of being like one of the best VR developers out there. But yeah, when it comes to just like really nice like production values and just like standard like expectations level of quality, and they are absolutely killing it lately, and pretty happy to see that, because yeah, dude, Metro Awakening, man. Metro Awakening was so good. That makes me really happy to see. We want more of these like bigger budget, more like higher production value games, and like story driven, linear, single player action adventure stuff. And so it makes me happy to see that, these games are getting supported, because it would be really heartbreaking for these games to deliver the games we want, and then it's like, oh, it turns out, we're the minority we're just the vocal minority that want these bigger budget games, and not everybody is actually wanting to put their money where their mouth is. And so I love to see it, man. Love to see it.
What's the possibility, now that we've seen that Metro Awakening has hit the number 1 on the sales charts for November, what's the likelihood that we could see Alien Rogue Incursion hit number 1 for December? Is that
very
something
likely?
I mean, and I say this based on IP alone, right? Metro is big in the video game space, but Alien is big in the everything space.
That's right.
I expect, unless it, ends up being like, horrible or something, or like, really disappointing in some ways that make people like hold off for a little bit. I fully expect Aliens to take the number 1 spot this month.
Yeah. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. Dude, I
think we're gonna probably get something more along the lines with what we've been getting. These 8 out of 10 awesome games like Metro and Behemoth. It'll probably be another one of those.
Yeah, which I'm totally happy with. Totally happy. If this is what we gotta get, then totally fine with this. This is like higher quality than what we usually get over the span of years. So
that's an excellent point. Even when we talk about how great some of Sony's own first-party PSVR1 games were, I'm like, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? The games, I mean, Farpoint maybe being an outlier. I know, right? The games we're getting now are absolutely, I think, better than the games we were getting then. I think VR has not taken a massive leap forward, but it has taken a giant step forward in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and the ideal thing to happen would be that there's a new number one game on PSVR2, like, every couple months, everywhere. We're still kind of running into that same issue where the launch games, these AAA, launch hybrid games or whatever, are still kind of dominating the top of what everybody wants, or everybody rates as the best. So that's really the next step to look forward to. But in the meantime, I'm happy to at least just getting the top 10, top 20 games, kind of some new blood in there.
Mark Poppin Pringles Leaf in the chat says Arken Age is going to be the big 10 out of 10 game. God, I hope you're right.
Yep.
I think Arken Age is going to be the one that sneaks up on everybody. It's crazy. It's crazy how many times Arken Age comes up in conversation and people go, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh man."
This happened to me at work the other day. Somebody was talking about Arken Age, and they had never even heard of it before. Like they just had seen the trailer that day. And we're talking like last week.
And you work in the VR space. What the hell?
And this was a well-known content creator, like somebody who's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Like,
oh man,
had no clue about Arken Age.
Days Vet in the chat asked, "Is the Metro book series good? I heard it's good." Funny story, guys. I started reading Metro 2033. I've been a little bit of a bookworm lately, and I'm on an absolute reading tear. And Metro 2033 is something I've started. And I will say, it is pretty good so far. It has excellent world building. Already, like, pretty memorable things are already starting to happen. Good characters, good atmosphere. The biggest thing about it is that it is translated, so the translation is a little like sometimes there's an extra "the" in there, or something is a little wonky. But it's actually a really good book so far, so I'm really excited to continue. We do book reviews now, guys. What else do you want me to review? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Lord of the Rings? Slaughterhouse 5? I got you covered.
Johnny C in the chat says, "Did you see that the new PSVR 1 game Time Lock has aim controller support?" And if you look closely, it has dual aim controller support, which is
what
bananas.
I've got two aim controllers.
I do
too.
too.
Go back and play some.
Hook that shit up. Hook that shit up.
What has dual aim support?
It's a new game. It's a new like escape room game on PSVR 1 called Time Lock 2. Actually, I think it's called Time Lock VR 2 instead of 2 VR. So you got me. I don't know. But yeah, it's listed on the PlayStation Store as having dual aim support. Listen, I don't think it's impossible. Like, I know the PlayStation Store is garbage and doesn't make any sense ever. And so it's probably just like mislisted. But technically, if you get two move controllers, you get only like one bulb on top of each one, right? A set of buttons for each one.
Yeah,
you could technically play a game with two aim controllers and have two analog sticks. I feel like maybe they missed the ball on that. Like, maybe more games should have supported dual aim support. Been great.
It's ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous.
But I hope it's true.
Me too. Paradise Decay with the 2 quid says 42.
Meaning of Life. What up, PD? Oh, also a great book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I also think he's just trying to guess the number from the last episode. Big Greasy Ebony with $2 tip says, play Behemoth or get my ass ate? Decisions. So it costs you $40 to get your ass eaten? I know people that'll do that for free. Well, I just
get what you pay for, though, Brian. Just so you know.
Okay. Okay, I'm good. I want to like run with that, but like I don't know if $40 is a lot or not a lot to get your ass eaten. Oh man, I knew this was going to happen when I wasn't feeling good. I was going to talk about whatever came up.
Don't distract Brian, guys.
Grandpa's Barbecue or Game Cat with the 2 Australian says, so this will be 25 in the upcoming top 25 stream. Is he talking about Behemoth? Hey, what's up, Tornado? I think Behemoth is going to be top 15 for me at least. We'll see how it comes out, dude. The problem,
the highs are very high. That's what kind of drives it up is like you have to experience the high moments that this game has to offer because holy shit, it is nothing else like it in VR. Maybe closest thing I could think of is maybe like Blood and Truth. Like those highs in Blood and Truth were very, very high.
I don't think they were Behemoth high.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, Behemoth was what I do like that it's less handholdy. Like yeah, those Behemoth fights, I was like, this is like everything I wanted from this. So really cool.
Sorry, we're just ignoring you to get some Tornado love on screen here.
Totally fine.
Hey.
Sorry, I've been very talkative today. I will sit back and let you and Wes talk more.
Dude, the reason that Wes and I...
But one at a time, please.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the reason Wes and I allowed you to be on today's show is because neither one of us was feeling great. And we're like, AJ, we'll just fucking talk the whole time, so it'll be fine. Yep. We're actually just using you, AJ. You asked to be on the show, but we're secretly using you.
Well, I apologize. I talk way too much. Sorry, guys. Proceed. So, did I tell you the other day? No, I'm just kidding. That took 5 seconds.
All right, we got 2 more big topics to talk about, and we're already running a bit long here. So let's get into the big Apple story. Not New York, not that big Apple, the big tech giant Apple. Okay, I'm just gonna fucking be quiet and let AJ talk now. Here it is, dude. I've completely forgot how to run a show. My brain is not working. All right, we're gonna kick it over to our friends at Push Square. Is it Push Square or Press Square? It's Push Square, right?
Yeah.
They're our friend. They're such good friends of ours that I can't remember the name of their website.
Soon to be not friends.
Right. Sony to make PSVR2 pads usable on Apple Vision Pro, new report claims. Deal already in place between the two firms. This comes to us from Liam Croft at Push Square, I believe. Sony's been working on making PSVR2 controllers compatible with the AVP headset, a new report from Bloomberg states. It's claimed an agreement between the two companies is already in place and that the deal was actually supposed to be confirmed weeks ago, but the rollout has been postponed. The report, do you think this is going to be the big news, the big VR news that we get from the Game Awards tomorrow?
Be great.
Right? Now, okay, so hold on. The report goes on to suggest the endeavor has resulted in a month of work for Sony, a month of work, that's it, to get compatibility between the two devices up and running. On the other side, Apple has been reaching out to developers to see if they'd be willing to update their games to support the PSVR 2 pads, not Sense controller, anyway, on Apple Vision Pro. As the article points out, one thing that Sony will need to rectify for this update is the fact that PSVR 2 controllers aren't sold separately. You don't say. Has anyone else complained about this? We should tell somebody because I didn't realize about this has been an issue.
This is news to me.
It's a big issue. I've just dropped $400 just so I could replace my broken gamepad, as this article likes to call it, last week.
You can only get them with the purchase of a new PSVR 2 headset. I do love that Push Square has just given up on putting a space anywhere between the letters and numbers of PSVR 2 and just crunched it all down without Parole style. That's right. Our grasp is exceeding our reach. That's not what that means. After its efforts to make PSVR 2 a more viable option for VR gamers on PC, this is another step from Sony to make the VR device a product for more than just PlayStation 5 owners. It doesn't seem willing to commit time and money towards first-party games for PSVR 2, but it will let you use the headset and accessories elsewhere. An official announcement of Apple Vision Pro compatibility is still expected in the near future, according to Bloomberg. I mean, good news, right? If it results in us being able to buy PSVR2 controllers separately, this is great news, right?
Yeah, and it's good news in general. Like obviously, these controllers should have been for sale by themselves a year ago. So that's awesome, and it's really that's the only thing to take from the story that's going to be relevant to any of us. But much like some of the other recent articles we read about Sony in the VR space, I just think that it's good news in general that Sony is still working to innovate in VR, whether that be for PlayStation VR2 or outside the console sphere. Sony's obviously still working in VR on things, pushing the envelope. So I think it's good in general.
Big picture, definitely good, great news. That is the big picture here. Yes. The only problem though is why does it take Apple paying Sony and giving them to finally be able to release controllers separately?
Yeah, I
That
know, right?
that is disgusting. I mean, look,
For what?
like,
For what? There's 300,000 of these headsets in the wild. That's it.
yeah,
Like there's not a ton of people.
but see, here's the thing. Apple's probably paying them. So they're like, okay, well, we will get money for this. So, I mean, I'd say it's smart on Sony's side to do it this way, but no, it's kind of not. Like people would have bought these anyways. More people would have bought these anyways. So technically, it is kind of like a smart business decision, but really, guys, you like, oh my God, like you have to let Apple pay you to finally decide that it's time to release these controllers. Come on, man. This is not the same Sony. Not even close.
And what's Apple doing, right? Like they say that their Apple Vision Pro is not a VR headset. Why are they using VR controllers with it? What are they going to use them for?
So spatial computing.
Well, do you think that Apple Vision Pro didn't sell well enough for them to maintain their vision for the Apple Vision Pro? And
I think that they got the same rude awakening that Meta got when they tried to move away from gaming a couple years ago, and that is that VR today, and this is a VR headset. VR today is mostly about gaming. Like I get that the Apple and Meta and everyone wants to take it and make it into this, social thing for people to live in and shop in, and they will get there, and that eventually will be what it becomes. But right now, 80 to 90% of the interest in VR is gaming related, and to release a VR headset that costs $3,000+ with no controllers was the dumbest fucking idea ever, and they realized that very quickly. And it's not like they can go to Meta and ask to use their controllers because that's their chief competitor. So they really only had one real viable company that they could go to that can produce these for them and make them work well, and that was Sony. So yeah, 2+2=4 here. It makes a lot of sense.
well, then it might be the best situation we could have asked for, because if Apple's fronting the bill to produce some of these things and they're going to finally become available on the market for all of us to buy an extra pair, then you know what? Then it all works out. Although it is really strange the way it had to go down.
Yeah.
I did put a poll up in the chat, FYI. So make sure you vote. Tell me how much you'd pay for another pair of Sense controllers.
I mean, you got to look at it this way too. I give Sony shit still, but
No.
at the end of the day, like they are like starting from scratch basically. Like there are completely new people in leadership positions. They are completely, planning for their next, 5-10 year strategy. So they've basically hit the cleaned house and hit reset. And they're restructuring, heavily. But yeah, it's still fun to just poke fun at them and be like, why the hell would you wait? I mean, well, for obvious reason, it kind of makes sense, but it's just kind of disappointing, I guess, because it's just not the same Sony that we're used to.
Null Zero in the chat says Quest 3 controllers are $75 each. Is that real?
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, then
Also,
this poll sucks. This poll sucks because the PSVR2 controllers are way better, right? They're way better. The adaptive trigger support, the better haptics, like And also the fact that, you know, they're doing some kind of business deal with Apple. Like, we might see these things launch for $200 for a set.
It's possible. You know, the Meta Pro controllers were, I think they're 250 for a set now. They were 300. So yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, the Apple Vision Pro probably sold like ass. It's way too expensive. Doesn't even play games. Boo.
Oh my God, we've got a lot of tips to get through. We're going to get through some of them right now, and then we'll and then we'll talk about our final news story. Izzard with the $5, 5 quid, says, I just learned about recency bias, and it's my favorite thing ever. There we go. There's the laughs. Professor Lilith with the $5 tip says, the Sunday multiplayer survey is now posted. Choose Arizona Sunshine Remake, Crisis Brigade 2, or D-Day Enhanced. Pew pew, it's all guns, all afternoon. Guys, every single Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we get together on Discord and we play some multiplayer games that probably don't have anyone sitting in the lobby right now. So make sure you come join our Discord and come hang out, vote on what game you want to play this weekend, and you get to play with a bunch of cool cats. It's good stuff. Thanks, Lilith. Now let's run the game feline with the $5 tip says, in Nintendo's defense, hold on. Were we talking about Nintendo today?
So you were talking about $90 games back in 1995 and how
that's probably it.
How $40 today is pales in comparison. And then someone said something about $40 for getting something their ass ate, and that was making me think, well, I remember back in the mid 90s when I was paying $90 to anyway, never mind.
To get your ass ate. Got it. Okay, now let's run the game feline says, in Nintendo's defense, they brought the blood back in Mortal Kombat 2. That's true, because sometimes you just got to give in. Sometimes it just feels better to give in. Damien with the $10 tip says, oh shit. It says, Metro, meh, Behemoth pre-blood patch, meh, Alien, please be good. Love the show. We love you too, Damien. And also, I want to point out something. Damien had, he was the one with the $40 Behemoth take, saying game should be done and completed, and then we came back and said retro games used to be $90, which is $200. If you weren't paying attention, Wes just recapped it for you 5 seconds ago. So I want to point out something very and this is going to be me just getting something off my chest that like really irritated me today because I was sick and tired and miserable, but I need to fucking get it off my chest. I love when we disagree. I love having intelligent debates about these things. I love when the three of us can disagree, when we can disagree with Miles, when people in the chat, you know, people who've been following the channel for a long time, newcomers, when we all disagree about shit, we can have good conversations about it. If we all sat here and agreed about everything, it would be boring as fuck all the time. But if you disagree with me and your first instinct isn't to say, oh, hey, you didn't experience the same bugs I encountered, or something along those lines, to give me some kind of good faith argument, and your first reaction to us disagreeing is, you're a fucking liar, you're a shill and being paid by developers, then go fuck yourself. Because that means you are unintelligent and you're immature. And if you don't have the ability to argue without resorting to the lowest common denominator of insults, then I don't want you here. You can unsubscribe and you will not be missed. End of story. That's not how we treat each other here. I will never treat you like that. You don't treat us like that. Period. This is not the internet. Okay? This is without parole. We don't subscribe to the dumb ass theories of the internet. Death threats are not tolerated. Being fucking mean to each other is not tolerated. 99% of you are awesome. Just want to say that. We've curated an amazing community. I've got no tolerance for this shit anymore, though.
Did somebody say something, Brian?
GC13 in the chat said, Brian, you're obviously a shill. That's the only... Oh my God. I'm sweating through my shirt. This is how sick I've been for like 3 days. This is the best I've been, fortunately. I'm glad we could do a show today, but holy crap. I'm like lightheaded and delirious. So thank you, Damien, for letting me get that off my chest. Drats Ebb gifted one without Parole membership. Thank you for your generosity. Macho, the real estate procrasting game cat with the $5 tip says, Tabor might be fucked. I just watched gameplay to a contractor's exfil zone. Posted a quick trailer on Ask Brian. It's more Tarkov than Tabor is. Hashtag skill issue. Good. We can
this is the next thing. These extraction shooters. This is the next roguelike. This is the next zombie web shooter. This is where all the games are going now. They're trying to mimic this genre, and we're all going to be sick of it in 2 years.
I mean, as long as it just keeps moving, I don't really care. you get a couple gold nuggets out of the bunch, and then you move on to the next fad. Extraction shooters are pretty fun though. Like I do like the core design. It sounds more like something I'd enjoy rather than a battle royale. Like I'm so glad. I mean, I know battle royales are still like, top of the popularity charts, but that's just not really my thing. I like the mix of PvP, PvE, and then kind of like, get in, do your mission, get out. So yeah, I look forward to getting some quality ones until I'm absolutely sick of them, and then RPGs will hopefully make a comeback and be oversaturated. I'm still
waiting for a Fortnite level battle royale shooter on PSVR 2. That's what I'm waiting for. I don't think Ghost of Tabor will be fucked. I think Ghost of Tabor has way too good of a reputation on other headsets to be fucked. I think when it comes out, everyone will buy it on PSVR 2, even if there's some hot new kid in town. Hot new. Wait, what's the expression?
Shout out to contractors though. Like Pavlov was the shit in early VR days, and Contractors came out and arguably was a better game. And then Population One kind of did the battle royale thing, and then Contractors Showdown came out last year and is way better than Population One. And now Ghost of Tabor comes out with the extraction shooter, and now here comes Contractors again to arguably dominate that space as well.
So I missed the thing. Is Contractors supposed to be coming to PSVR 2?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just playing off of what the chat's saying. I have no idea.
Because I thought that was one of those like they're buddy with like Meta, because they've had a lot of success on that platform.
I don't think that's the case. I think that they've been pretty exclusive to Meta lately for a lot of the reason that a lot of the same reasons that a lot of developers are, because that's where the money's at right now.
Right. Well, and if they're and they're also finding success on that platform. It's not like like something nefarious here, but just like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Like if it's going well over there. But I thought I remember at one point they said that they were going to bring it to PSVR 2, or they were exploring the idea. But then that disappeared. I thought maybe, I could be wrong here, I thought maybe they also had a death in the company, something that had happened, something like really bad, tragic, that had changed the course on some things. I'm not sure.
That sounds like a rabbit hole that we didn't even have to go down.
Sounds like a great job for Brian to get researching on.
Yeah,
and let you know on PSVR this week.
JPEG Q with the $2 tip says, has anyone checked out Arcade to TV XR? Looks great. Wait, is that real? I've been throwing that shit into my spam folder for 2 months now. Is that real?
Well, yeah, they've been emailing me as well. Yeah, it's a real thing. Some of my friends have accepted the offer and got one of those $500 controllers. I just don't have time for it, so I haven't accepted it. But it's a real thing for sure.
I probably looked at it, and is it coming to PSVR 2? Is that a thing? Do you know?
No, it's Quest right now. I mean, if it's coming, I'm not aware of it.
That's probably why I ignored it. Because even if it looks like spam, I do try to investigate to make sure it's not before I call it spam. Joey Katz with the level 1 says, why can't Vertigo add DFR to Metro like Hellsweeper? Well, Vertigo didn't make Hellsweeper. They just published it. So you'd have to ask Mixed Realms what they did and why, and then ask Vertigo.
Yeah,
they have a whole
Vertigo
article
answered him.
Well, Mixed
Yep.
Realms is running in Unity, and I'm pretty sure that Vertigo runs their own engine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Listen, it would be nice to have DFR, but again, I think the thing that we're always talking about when it comes to DFR isn't about DFR specifically, right? Like, who cares about dynamic foveated rendering? What we want are the benefits from DFR, be able to get it up and running at 90 natives to get rid of reprojection, have a smoother frame rate. And so, like, I think that's let's no, I don't want to be like offensive, Joey. That wasn't trying to be like use the right fucking terminology. But like that's what we should be asking is hey, this game doesn't look like it's graphically intensive. Is there any way we can get a 90 frames mode?
Well, I stand corrected. Looper says that After the Fall was Unity, and that Metro is in Unreal 5. So I guess I was wrong. I thought they were running their own engine.
We're gonna do one more tip, and then we're gonna tackle our biggest news story, which was probably gonna be really small now that we're taking so long to get to it. Leo AI with the 50-second row says, got my PS5 Pro today. Can't wait to see how Trombone Champ utilizes the power of the Pro. Any new Pro updates for PSVR2? Sense controllers thanks to Apple. I haven't heard of any updates regarding Pro support for PSVR2, other than obviously like Arken is coming up, and that will have native Pro support. Subside, I think the A2D developer has said that the Pro patch will come after launch, which makes me think that Subside is coming sooner rather than later. Otherwise, why wouldn't it be ready for launch? What else am I missing? Anything jumping out at you guys?
I don't know. Honestly, though, I don't really keep up with it all that closely until we start to see like widespread support for it. I don't have one of these consoles, so I don't really.
Yeah, I'm still waiting
pay
on
any
that
attention.
official, like hardware side.
Oh, the
update.
PSSR update. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think the PS5 already has features that should be fully taken advantage of. And if developers aren't even, adding like DFR, like we just talked about DFR, like
Right.
if they're not doing that and then they're not doing some other things, then it's like, well, they got some ground to make up first. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's more significant updates for the Pro coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
At a future.
I think so. I guess there's a bunch of people saying that Resident Evil 4 actually looks better on the Pro now. So I booted it up.
Yeah, I saw an article about that. Forget.
I don't know what they're seeing, dude, because it looks. When I did the Pro comparison video, there were specific things I was looking for. Like so when I went into Resident Evil 4, I was like, oh, look at this decaying animal on the ground. Oh, look at the detail in the sky above the house as the birds, or the crows or whatever the fuck they are fly over the house when at the very beginning. Like look at the detail here and the reflections there. Right? There's all specific things you're looking for, and I checked it out on the Pro today, and now this was not a back-to-back comparison, but Resident Evil 4 did get an update between when I checked for the video, the comparison video, and today at some point. And I didn't do back-to-back, but I did do just like the base Pro, for the first 5 minutes of it, and I was looking at all those details that I had checked multiple times before, and at least as far as my memory is concerned, which maybe shouldn't be trusted, like everything looked identical, right? Now, I don't know. Like there are some things that like don't really jump out at me when I play games. Like Mura, that is not a big thing for me. But like resolution and frame rates tend to be pretty big for me. And so with that stuff not jumping out, I'm very, very curious what people are seeing that I'm not. I don't know.
Placebo effect.
I mean, possibly, but I also don't want to accuse anyone of that. If someone out there is doing back-to-back comparisons and did it after the update, back-to-back comparisons are the only way. I will say, however, without doing a back-to-back comparison, there was nothing noticeably better that would make me go, oh yeah, this is so much better on the Pro, and you need a Pro for this.
Like, yeah, unless it was having like frame rate issues like Vertigo 2 that got fixed. They're not fixed, but that got improved. Or there's like dynamic resolution. It's not just going to magically be better without a patch. It's going to take the game being patched. It's not going to just naturally
Well,
you know,
and again,
upgrade
Resident Evil 4
itself.
did get patched, and that's why
Right.
I was
The patch
interested in
that I
going back
heard,
in.
as far as I know, the patch was to fix a bug of the game crashing when you play it on a pro.
So
when you
hopefully
do
that doesn't
tests.
happen anymore, because it never happened to me. But I'm just a fucking shill, AJ. So who the fuck knows? Can't trust this guy. What's our big story? Oh, right. It looks like Tomb Explorer VR, not Tomb Raider, guys. Tomb Explorer is coming to PSVR 2. Wes, I'm going to start with you because this is not AJ's day. And he claims that he's been talking too much. He claims that he's been talking too much, although I don't know, man. I just don't hear it.
Back,
I just don't hear it.
Run the show. Okay.
You better pay attention because we're going to call on you eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you need me, I'll be here in the chat.
Okay. Wes, I'm going to start with you because even though AJ is definitely a member of the PC Master Race these days, you have been a member of that particular group much longer. Is this a game that you're familiar with?
It is. It's a game that I played in early access years ago, and I thought at the time it had some potential. It's a good looking game graphically. At that point, like the UI was kind of rough. It was very obviously an indie game. But I felt like it had some potential, and it recently launched into full release on Steam, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't played it since then. I can tell you that it looks really good. It's a pretty basic exploration puzzle game. I don't know how much they've worked in like a story campaign into it. Like it seems like maybe they've done that since I played it, but when I played it, it was pretty bare bones, exploration with some puzzles and stuff. But pretty decent production value. Some fairly challenging and thoughtful puzzles. Some really cool environments. It has potential. I'll say that.
I'm actually going to bring up the Steam listing for it right now just to kind of get a better idea of what people are saying about it these days. I do love that. Oh, I was just about to say, I love how they have like the, reviews and then recent reviews kind of separated, but no, not for this one. This one just says all reviews. So it is, so it's saying it came out August 1st, 2024. However, it's still saying it's early access for $25. So that's very confusing.
Yeah, that is weird because I played this game literally years ago.
Right. But yeah, a lot of the news and everything is talking about major updates and all that. So I just want to jump down here to some more recent reviews and see what the deal is.
Can I chime in?
No.
Okay.
We have not called on you yet.
So, interestingly enough, like I think going by the trailer of this, the trailer looks fantastic. Like graphically, these environments look impressive.
It looks like Jungle Bill.
It looks better.
I mean, it looks about like Jungle Bill did on PSVR 1. But like, can we be fair? Jungle Bill looked great on PSVR 1.
Yeah, and this looks better.
Okay.
Okay, so it's got obviously like a Tomb Raider thing going on here. A little bit of Tomb Raider, a little bit of were those boobs? Did you just look down and see its boobs? Anyway, sorry.
I hope so.
I think I saw the full body IK. Anyways,
always wanted boobs, AJ, and now I finally get to have them.
just be sitting here playing the game the whole time like this. Anyways, I got distracted. I'm sorry. I am, but the weak man. Anyways, I'm totally fucking this up. I'm so sorry.
We definitely should have started the episode with this story.
I just wanted to say something. Trailer looks great. Obviously a little bit like Tomb Raider, a little bit of Indiana Jones stuff going on here.
Jungle Bill.
Even though the things say mostly positive, the reviews, there's only 33 reviews, which is not a lot. The reviews actually were kind of concerning to me because they're either not good reviews or even the positive reviews like have some critique. So I haven't seen like any full like this is great, everything's awesome, everything's perfect. And some of it is pointing to like what Wes was saying was like this game is I think in early access. And that's what it sounds like. It seems like it has a lot of room to grow, a lot of work to do still before it kind of lives up to its potential. And I thought that was a little concerning because I was like, trailer looks great. I started reading the reviews and I was like, not looking so good in the reviews.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's still in early access, the fact that this review I'm looking at right now is from August 1st, so not even that long ago. We're not talking about as long ago as West played, right? These are much more recent reviews, and it's still, the quality level's still not there. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm just kind of scrolling through right now.
No, that's right. It says room to grow. Boobs.
Yeah.
I've got the whole chat talking about boobs now.
It's not a hard thing to do.
All right. The gist of it, the game is still very rough, but worth supporting in my opinion. Just don't expect a finished game that you can just jump into and enjoy yet. I played for roughly an hour and I had to take a frustrated break, which worked well since the game crashed. All right. Our headline story is a bust, you guys. this is not going well. Yeah.
Those reviews are not like those are concerning. Yeah. Should have read the reviews.
Fortunately, AJ, we've got no worries over here in PSVR2 land because the Sony QA team will make sure that nothing gets through but the absolute fucking... I can't even complete that because then
this game will be out in 3 years.
Yeah. No. So Sony doesn't give a fuck. Sony does not give a fuck. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to waste any more time on this. I'll let the trailer keep running. But we're going to tackle a few more tips, and then, of course, we'll play our 4-minute challenge, which hopefully AJ has already picked a game for.
I've got 2. Should I go door number 1 or door number 2?
I say do both, and we can guess both of them in 4 minutes.
Yeah,
does one of these games have first-person shooting?
Do you want 8 minutes?
I think that would kill us. I think I can barely think straight today, AJ.
Okay, we'll go for 2 then. I'll try to make this very easy.
No, we're not going for 2. Going for 1. I was joking. Joking. Oh, man, no one understands.
Well, Brian, he meant number 2. He's going for number 2. Not he's going for both of them.
Is that what you meant, AJ?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the number 2.
Oh,
1.
You're gonna go. You're picking the poop.
Yeah.
Awesome Tatum with the level 3 membership says Undead Citadel PSVR 2 Q1 of 2025. AJ, are you excited? Are you not entertained?
No, I'm not. And I'll believe it when it actually releases.
I mean, it was a PSVR 1 game, supposedly.
It was
It definitely was. We saw video footage of it. It's proof.
We did.
First trailer in 2016.
Hey,
I've waited long enough. I'm good. Keep your
and Behemoth beat them to the punch.
Yeah, Behemoth's a better game. Okay, easily a better game.
Yeah.
Undead Citadel should have come out December of last year, and then it would have had a place. However, just like I meant to say this when we were talking about contractors and Ghosts of Tabor, it doesn't have to be just one game that does something well, right? I really enjoy plenty of 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 games, and so if Undead Citadel ends up being a 6 or a 7 out of 10 and just is like a fun beat 'em up, I'm fine with that. So it
was good. Like even with like I talked about it recently, the Quest version, which was pretty rough visually. I played it for hours when we reviewed it last month because I was just having such a good time playing it. The physics are pretty awesome, and it's just a fun, it's like shooting zombies. It's just something that's fun to do in VR is to slash things to bits.
So yes, we're excited, Tatum. The Marvel side with the $50 tip says, I believe Apple said something about a less expensive headset. So maybe the Sense controllers will be geared in that direction. I would love to have spares. Stay awesome, everyone. Let's hope so.
$2,500 would be a less expensive headset, significantly less expensive. So think about that for a minute.
Holy
That's a good
shit.
point.
Gorilla Tag has 4.9K ratings on the PlayStation Store. So you know
And
what
it's-
one of my
That's a
guesses was
monster.
going to be? That is crazy.
Wait, do reviews carry over from region to region?
No.
Okay. Well, because I was going to say, because that would be an impressive number for a worldwide release, and it's only out in the US, I think.
Yeah, that's a US only thing.
Crazy. Okay.
I think I mentioned before, like that's like, yeah, like I told my friend that released, and his kids like have been playing it like every single day ever since. They were like they were like asking for a quest for Christmas because they wanted Gorilla Tag, and then I was like, oh yeah, that came out like 8 days ago, and he sent me a picture. He's like, dude, they will not stop playing it.
They were like, but Dad, we wanted to play with our friends, and all of our friends have a quest.
That's the truth, though. People say all the time, when's VR going to hit the mainstream? When these kids grow up, that's when.
It's true.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Macho, the real estate procrastinating game cat with the $2 tip says, oh, way to shit on my dream before we even get one, Wes.
Yeah, okay. No problem, bro. That's what I'm good at, shitting on people's dreams. Ask my wife.
Damien with the
They call it
$5
a
tip.
West Dream. You ever had a West Dream before, Brian?
Boom,
Bro, all my dreams are wet dreams.
I said West
Wet.
Dream.
Did I also not say
What's the
that?
difference?
I don't think
What's
you
the
said
difference?
Exactly. Why make a distinction, AJ? Damien with the $5 tip says, Brian, we don't always agree, but the amount of money you have saved me from purchasing games without your review, bruh, thank you. Dude, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. Flippy Nuggets with the level 1 membership says Hitman 3 is 60% off at the moment if any cats are interested. Yeah, guys, keep that in mind. Hitman World of Assassination on PS4 frequently goes on sale. So make sure you can get it cheap, and then upgrading, you should be, oh man, please correct me if I'm wrong on this, AJ. I think you might know this better than anybody. You can upgrade the PS4 version to the PS5 version for free, and then it's $10 to upgrade to the PSVR2 version when that launches.
Dude, no amount of scientific calculations. I don't care if you work at NASA, you're not going to be able to guess the pricing and purchasing model for Hitman series at all. But no, all jokes aside, yeah, it's a $10 upgrade. I think it's
From
you
the
get
PS5 version. And so the question is
Yes.
can you upgrade from the PS4 version to the PS5 version for free?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe
So
so.
I think we're all in the clear then. God damn it. All right. Yeah, I don't know how they've made this so complicated. They've taken the mess that is the PlayStation Store and managed to fucking make it worse. So much worse. Thank you, Flippy Nuggets, for the heads up. Red Rover, send Joe Grover right over the oven game cat with the $2 tip says AJ wants to play Boob Raider. AJ wants to play Boob Raider.
Dargans.
Boobs. Okay.
I'd play that too. Yeah.
Oops.
Boobs and West Dreams. You're welcome, world.
We did it. We made VR happen.
Texting me. I hope they're not watching. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we have some thoughts about the future of your employment. This is the HR department. All right. We gotta do the 4-minute challenge and call this episode. Because I'm just gonna crawl back in bed. You're never getting a Behemoth review, you guys. AJ, you have picked out a game and you opened door number 2.
I did.
Wes and I only have 4 minutes and an infinite number of yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 game AJ is thinking of. We need all the help we can possibly get from you guys in the chat.
You're not gonna need that much help.
Dude, I am going to lay down in bed after the show is over and go, man, I wish we did a GAMESCAST today. So if you think, based on that statement, that I'm going to do good at all on the 4-minute challenge, you are sadly mistaken. On your mark. You ready, Russ?
Yeah, ready as I can be.
Get this. Go. I'll kick it off. Is it on PSVR 1?
No.
It's not on PSVR 1. Is it on other VR platforms?
Yes.
Has this developer made other PSVR 2 games? Or PSVR 1 games?
Yes.
Okay, that might clue
Is it
us into
playable
something.
flat?
No.
Okay. Did we mention the name of this game on today's show?
No.
Is this a first-person game?
Yes.
Is there any kind of shooting of guns in this game? Pew pew. This is an easy one, AJ. Don't AJ it up.
I want to say no, but there could be.
Wonderful. I'm taking another one. Was this on our top 50?
No.
It's not going to be a good one.
Was this a launch title?
No.
Man, is this game part of either a series or a known franchise?
I would say no. It might like technically be, but no. Overall.
All right, moving on.
Full locomotion?
Yes.
Sci-fi?
Yeah. 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 Yes.
Are there puzzle elements?
No.
Is this primarily a combat game?
Yes.
Primarily a combat game, and he's not sure if they're shooting. Old Darth said, did Brian like it?
I have no idea.
Did Brian shill for it?
Probably.
Okay.
Is there melee fighting in it?
Yes.
Is there
magic in
multiplayer?
it?
Oh, go ahead. Magic first.
Yeah.
Is there
I
multiplayer?
think.
Oh my god.
Yes. Maybe.
Yes, magic, yes, multiplayer.
I think there's multiplayer in it.
Okay. It's not the Wizards, you
so.
guys, because AJ would know. We played that together.
I do know that. It's not the Wizards.
Did I review it?
I don't know.
No.
Is this cartoony graphics?
Like no, not like super cartoony.
Is there a rhythm? Is there a rhythm element?
No.
Okay, so it's not like Metal Hellsinger. It's not anything like that.
Is it from Carbon Studio?
No.
Did Pert publish it?
Negative.
Do you control vehicles?
No.
Is it a roguelite?
Bamzadi. No. Maybe. It might be.
Is it a
But I don't know.
A lot of
Metroidvania?
maybes from you.
Metroidvania?
No.
All right, you got to guess, Wes, and then we got to call it because we
I
just
have
ran
no
out of time.
clue. I don't
Wow.
know what to lead. I have no
Yeah, I
idea.
got nothing. AJ, tell us what it is, man.
I thought I was being like very non-AJing the F out of this. I was giving a lot of yes and no's and maybes
Yeah.
because
I
A
think
lot
I
of
think we
maybes
deserved an
and I
extra.
thinks.
because
We
I
deserved an
think
extra
it
minute.
may
That's
be.
for sure.
Released April 18th,
He's even AJing the
2024
answer.
from Third Verse Co. for $49.99. It is the single player multiplayer. Maybe it's supposed to be multiplayer that nobody ever actually got to play multiplayer.
That's right. Soul Covenant.
So it's supposed to have multiplayer, but did it ever? And does it?
To my knowledge, yes. They did finally patch it so that you didn't have to like fucking open the ports on your router to play it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they were
Remember
telling
that?
people to they were telling people to like reconfigure their router like to
Yep.
play multiplayer. Like what?
Right. So I have heard Looper says it's the first time it's been picked. Yeah, Soul Covenant. If AJ was muted, I'm sorry. I fucking went. I've got way too many scenes here, and they're all broken.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Apparently I was muted for that like whole thing.
No, you were not muted for the whole thing. It was like literally 5 seconds. The chat
Okay.
likes to overreact. Yeah, Soul Covenant by Third Verse. This is it was definitely kind of broken as far as multiplayer was concerned. I really wanted to play it multiplayer, but it was broken during the time I could have reviewed it, and I was like, well, can't even fucking play this game. So, it seems pretty basic. As somebody who really liked Swords of Gargantua and really liked Altair Breaker, but like recognized that they weren't inherently games with a ton of content or a lot to do. Soul Covenant seemed like just another one of those games with a whole lot of forced narrative between levels. But I'm looking forward to get back to it one of these days. Hopefully we'll have a slow point.
It's got a cool story. Like the premise of what they had going on there was a pretty cool thing. Like the gameplay was pretty basic arcade style hack and slash stuff, but high production value and a cool story. Like it had some stuff going for it.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why I picked it, because I did kind of like this game to some degree. I think the repetitive nature of it wore me out though, where I think like 7 hours in, I was like so done. I was so tired of doing the same thing over and over. And I think I could have handled the repetitiveness of it if it wasn't like loading screen, cutscene, battle,
Yep.
cutscene, main menu, loading screen, cutscene, battle. Like the pace of it was so broken up with these like with the storytelling and everything, and then so predictable. Like now it's going to open up the chapter 2, and then now it's going to open up chapter 3, and you have to like wait for it to all like unroll, and it was just like watching paint dry. It was the worst pacing ever. But the game, like you guys said, the game had a lot of cool things going for it. Really great art style. The bosses looked great. Some like the sword play I thought was actually decent, and there was some good stuff to be had here. This shame that it wasn't better.
Red Rover the Up in Gamecast says, is Wes muted? He ain't said shit in 15 minutes. Oh, that's an AJ problem. Man, JPEG Q with the $5 tip says, question especially for Brian, top 3 C64 games you'd love to see a PSVR2 remake of. Already I'm like, oh man, we're gonna have issues. He says, I want Airborne Ranger, The Last Ninja, and The Goonies. I will tell you, JPEG, I'm 100% with you on The Goonies. The Goonies,
Friday 13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to save the day.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a third Commodore 64 game, and I can't because I didn't own one.
Yeah. I mean, I did, and recently I've, got a retro console that had like 30,000 C64 games on it, and I was just going through and playing and like remembering all the games from my childhood. And right now is just a bad time. I was a big point and click adventure fan. And so like Maniac Mansion and Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders were huge for me. Like those games were like my entire life when they came out. Massive. Loved that stuff. Beyond the Forbidden Forest scared the crap out of me as a kid. It's not scary, but it scared the crap out of me as a kid. So I don't know. Probably those, I guess. I would love to see somebody try and do it though, because we saw not that long ago Colossal Cave, the text adventure game, got a remake, and I was pretty disappointed by it. It wasn't just enough for it to exist. It still had to compete in today's landscape of games, and I would hope that if any of my favorite C64 games ever came back, they'd be able to compete, and it wouldn't just be like, oh, here, this just exists now.
I think Colossal Cave had a certain charm to it because it was that old point and click style, right? And there were like ways of interacting with it that I had forgotten about, right? Because it's been so long since I played any of those type of games. It was kind of cool to experience that inside of a headset.
Bro, I cannot believe Damian Master just said Cops and Robbers. I was like, if I say Cops and Robbers, no one's going to know what game I'm talking about. But I loved that game as a kid, and that was one of the first ones that popped into my head. That is amazing. All right, apparently I never ended the poll. Jesus. How much would you pay for another set of Sense controllers? 31% of you said up to $75. Oh, crap. Hold on a second. Let's just end it, and it'll give me a rundown. Here we go. 44% of you said up to 100. 10% of you said up to 125, and 14% of you said up to 150. And I think reasonably, they're probably going to be 150 or more.
Hell no, they won't.
Were you not here for that conversation? All right, we got to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and thank you for putting up with me. I'm definitely not with it today at all, but hopefully I'll have everything up on the channel back up and running at least by Friday, if not sooner. Hoping to get fully recovered. Hopefully Wes gets a chance to sleep in and recover himself. And AJ, you don't need shit. You're fine.
I'll just keep doing my thing.
But thanks to everybody who helps the channel run, all my moderators. You guys are awesome. Everybody does timestamps and uploads things to podcasts and tips and money and not money. Just being here, sit back, don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Let's go. Oh man, Spy vs. Spy. I used to love Spy vs. Spy on C64. Even the second one, which is like some like Desert Island something, and then the third one is Arctic Antics. I remember that. I was obsessed with Spy vs. Spy. Craziness. All right, guys. This weekend without parole history. I'm gonna bring up some options here. What are we in? December. All right, we got 2021, 2022, 2023. You guys tell me.
AJ, you're the guest.
No, I picked last time. You go, Wes.
Let's go 22, Brian.
2022. Here we go.
Uh-oh. What sort of blind optimism did we have this day?
No, we were fully aware that life sucked because the headline was new on the PlayStation Store, Car Mechanic Simulator VR.
Oh, God.
I almost picked that. I almost picked that as the game tonight.
Good. Definitely would have lost that one too. The other topic was how VR games should be advertised. I feel like that maybe could have been a good conversation, but I have no idea.
It probably was a train wreck.
It's an ongoing conversation. How VR games should be advertised.
It's already been shown how it should be advertised, like how it works.
What do you mean? Do tell.
Getting it out with demo stations where people can actually try it. That's a big one.
Well,
also,
wait. Hold on. I don't want you to move on.
Okay.
Because I feel like once you get people into a VR headset, like I feel like demo stations are good for getting people to pick up a headset. And then people who have played VR games can look at a flat screen trailer and go, yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome. Right. But if you don't, but you don't, people who haven't played a lot of VR or any VR do not get that same feeling. They go, why does this look like a PlayStation 2 game? Right.
Well, that's why you put the demo station, Brian, with a demo disc. And and utilize the same strategy that got me to buy a PlayStation back in 1995.
You also went to Mickey Gustafson's house and played Resident Evil?
You put a demo station out with a demo disc, and it has Resident Evil and Horizon and Gran Turismo and I don't know, something else. All you really need is Resident Evil. And people go, oh yeah, this is amazing.
Listen, I agree with you. Okay, I do. But the problem is getting people to a demo station is way harder than just putting a video up on YouTube. What I want to hear what Wes thinks. What's the right way to advertise VR games?
Well, there is no right way. Honestly, it depends on the game. And who are you selling to? Are you trying to sell VR to a flat gamer, or are you trying to sell VR games to VR gamers? And it does vary from title to title, but yeah, I think for the type of games that we like, these story driven, like cinematic adventure games, I think that the standard trailer sequence works, right? With a cinematic reveal, and then you have a gameplay trailer, then the release date reveal. That all works pretty well for younger generations, and like multiplayer games and like casual free to play games. Like you got to get more involved with social media, and you have to do more viral marketing. Like there's just no one answer on how do you promote VR games. It depends on the game. It depends on the audience that you're targeting. There's a lot that goes into it.
Uh, I think Random Toxie, the derailed hype train cat, has the proper answer, and that is Star Child demo. Good night, everybody. We love you
Demos
all.
are good. I think
Yeah,
demos are a
lots.
lost are a lost art. Like demos were a big part of like the early generation of VR, and it's just something that only happens on Steam now. Like you only really see a demo compilation when Steam does one 4 or 5 times a year.
You got to do a demo disc, man. That's what it is. A demo disc.
What's a disc?
Yeah, what's a console that has a disc drive in it?
Okay,
Like,
the demo digital app where you can play a snippet of a bunch of different little games.
yeah.
And while indie devs may not have the full resources to do that easily, these big ass billion-dollar studios, corporations like Sony or whatever, they do. And yeah, and they just need to put
Yeah,
the
a
Star Child back.
curated collection, I think, is a good idea. Obviously, people don't use disk drives very much anymore, but I think a curated collection of high quality demos is something that we
Yep.
don't see. Like Steam has their demo days, and it'll just be mostly like a bunch of indie garbage and a few gems in it. But we don't see like a curated demo collection from high big budget games that are you know selling people um, selling to people directly. And again, this is something that PSVR1 did very well. They had their demo disc. Disc was a thing back then, but they kept it current. Like they kept what was like 3 or 4 of them in the lifespan of PSVR volumes of it. Um, so yeah, I agree with you. I think there should be more of that sort of thing these
Hype
days.
trailers of big AAA games, demo discs, kiosks.
Yeah.
All the
I'm
things.
I mean, listen, I think procedural games and JPEG-Q are a little more current with their answers. Because demo discs, again, whatever, no physical disk drives. You could download a whole demo disc app, but it's like, I honestly, doing these timed demos is really, I mean, we should have doing timed demos on premium. Sh- that should be available for every game, right? Or the same thing that I don't know. Does Steam have this? It's the 2 hour refund policy, right? So you can
Yes.
play the game for up to 2 hours and then refund it,
Yeah,
right? We just need
Meta
better
has
refund,
No questions asked. It is
yep.
glorious.
right?
Steam and Meta both do that. Yeah.
So like that's what they need to do. Honestly, like it's that way. There's never a risk. You say, oh, that looks interesting. I'm gonna buy it, and then if like something goes wrong, if it's not a great game, if it's broken, if it just isn't your thing, then you refund it, right? We're in a different era now. We are in a different era. Like people use people use the refund policy, the infinite refund policy, as their demo disc experience, and I think that PlayStation needs to evolve with the times.
Yeah.
Although they're probably making so much money, they're like, well, why should we have to?
Yeah. I do
Which
like
is
what they're doing
unfortunate.
with premium though. The premium collection is a good step in the right direction. Lots more to do, but that's a good little wrinkle.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, but yeah, I think it's embarrassing compared to the competition. So, all right, this was another long conversation. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night.